All right, time for Johnny's Interactive, and I hand over to Aisha Ibrahim.
Hi, Israel.
Hi, Aisha.
Looking very good.
Thank you very much. And you're looking marvelous.
Especially your tie. I mean, it's
okay.
just on point. It's just on point. But I missed you too. I told you that.
And I missed you too a great deal.
Definitely.
So happy to have you back.
Yeah, good to see you, Israel. And I told you earlier it's going to be fun and a lot of issues trending on social media. So let's begin on a very beautiful note. And I'm sure you've heard the news that the Chinese Society in Ghana have donated an amount of 50,000 Ghana cedis to the police administration in support of the construction of the Police Intelligence and Professional Standards PIPS headquarters. Now, this, according to them, is to help combat crime in the country. Well, many are those who feel this gesture might be just one of the tricks to gaining the favor of the police, especially with the country's determination to crack down on illegal Chinese miners. Question: should security institutions accept gifts, especially from foreigners?
Oh, I just think that if the activities do not directly affect the security organizations, I don't see anything wrong with that, so they can still take it.
What do you mean by affect security organizations?
So it's like if the activities is not illegal or they think what they are doing is right, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. They can still accept any donations because I think those donations will help the activities to make a better Ghana.
So you do not think that it would compromise their positions on some decisions?
I don't think so. If the activities are legal, I don't think it has any direct correlation with the gift they give to the security agencies.
Okay, so in the case of the Chinese, what do you think?
Not all Chinese are illegal, so it's the same thing. Not all Ghanaians are illegal.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because if these same people give you that money, that car, that house, and they have faulted the law, how are you going to make sure that the law deals with them? Because you have now established certain kind of rapport with them. So are you going to let them go scot-free? The law must take its full course on everyone who, done something bad.
No, I don't think so. They shouldn't accept at all. Yes. Why? Because when they accept, it means they are going to dance their tune, which is wrong. So I think they shouldn't accept at all.
Okay, give me a little more information about how you think that they will be compelled to dance to their tune.
Well, it's natural. You should understand this. Because when someone gives you something, it means the person can influence you in any way. So I don't think it should be allowed at all.
I will tell them to accept, or I will encourage them, because when you enter our prisons, my father is a prison officer, so I know what I'm saying. If you enter the prisons, actually it is very, very bad. So for the inmates, yes. For the officers, no. So for donations like that, fine. For police service like this, no. Because they are the law enforcers. They enforce the law. Sometimes there's a conflict of interest because I have donated to you when I'm doing something. It is difficult for you to say it or for you to enforce the law on me.
Very interesting comments from the streets. But Israel, you know, gifts are difficult to turn down. Especially the Ghana Police Service. All right, let's check what you've been saying on Facebook.
All right, Kofi Sino says, "Dear JNI, this is a way to manipulate the police. I believe we have enough resources and competences to fight Galamsey. The Chinese money is a decorated bribe, allegedly. Listen to what Elijah Yunusa Husseini is saying about the Chinese ambassador. You can't go to China and do illegal business. They should reject it." Ibrahim Akubaji says, "Gifts must be accepted with no conditions attached. Such gifts may come with the gift givers expecting some inducement, especially in the legal mining we're struggling to curb. At least Elijah Yunusa Husseini told us of these gifts." Nana Ba says, "Well, although donations can be made by foreigners or individuals to the police, I think the timing of this donation by the Chinese is set to induce the police in their hand for illegal Chinese miners. Corruption everywhere." And Samuel Musa says, "If they accept this so-called gesture, I would now believe we are still in the colonial rule. They are using their money as bait to the Ghana police on the Galamsey. I can't think far."
And Sadat Umar Nuhu says, "Yes, they can accept gifts and donations, but it should not influence them to to take decisions in favor of the giver. The donation from the Chinese Society in Ghana is very good, but the timing was very wrong. It creates the impression that it was a bribe to neutralize the coercive force the police might use in the fight against Galamsey. Marina Kenny says, well, let's hope it's just a gift and not something they would want to use against us in the future. Certainly, let's take it after all. It's a gift and Ghana is suffering already. We are still not living as independent. Hussein Osman says, the question is, what interest has the Chinese government in the Ghana Police Service? I don't think it's just a kind gesture. And Desmond Barian says, these Chinese could have donated this money to other institutions like hospitals or orphanages, but they know Ghana's weak point. Who say white man not pass black man with brain? Now Galamsey galore. And those are some of the comments on Facebook, but I tend to disagree. White man no get sense past black man. I beg to differ on that. All right, so amidst the chaos which broke in Parliament last week, there was an encounter between individual members of Parliament also, which seemed to be getting personal. Education Minister and Member of Parliament for Manhyia South, Matthew Poku-Prempeh, made a gesture to a colleague MP, which some are still arguing about and trying hard to understand what that gesture meant. Well, let's take a look at exactly what he did. All right, so you just saw what happened in Parliament, and that was the Minister of Education in the picture. So what signal does this gesture, tell me what you think about it, what signal does this gesture send to whoever it was meant for?
So what do you think he was communicating to whoever he was talking to?
Maybe he was trying to tell the person you are not correct, you are mad. Because that's how that sign means. This sign, if someone do like this, that means you are mad or you are not correct. We are only correct now. But if you was trying to ask the person, like, oh, sit down, you do like this, oh, sit down, I can't hear you. But this one, he was very, very furious, as you can see on the video, that he was doing like this, and he was throwing the hand like that. That means he was trying to insult somebody.
So what does it mean to you? What do you think he was trying to communicate to whoever it was he was talking to?
Trying to tell the person is mad, not feeling fine. And the person is not, the brain is not correct. Yeah.
What makes you deduce this meaning?
Because that's what he's saying, what it implies. When you're talking to somebody and you say like, it means that the person's brain is not working well and is not correct. So
tell me, what do you understand by the gesture?
It clearly means that you're a fool. That's all.
So like, if someone does it to you anyway, can't you understand it to mean something else?
No, I think that's the only meaning to it.
Israel,
what do I think?
What do you think about this?
Well, it sounds to me pretty much like, I mean, but I've been asking others too who are saying all sorts of things.
But if you listen to or if you watch Kwakese, he talks about he did this actually.
Yeah.
It should have been like this.
And the way they do it. So I've been asking people what exactly they felt. Some people do say, "Oh my mefro."
All right, let's check what you were saying on Facebook.
AJ Trem says that parliamentarians do not deserve to be called honorable. There is nothing honorable about their behavior. They have created a lot of mistrust and are only seen about their personalities. The video says it all. We all know they're thieves, but please don't catch me for contempt. Please hold. Barry Makubajin says, Napo is clearly the one who sparked that behavior in Parliament. Watching the video, reading his lips and looking at his gestures, that man is simply so arrogant, extremely blunt and so full of himself. I'm so happy he has people like the Honorable Sanjata George who would take him to task. I wonder what kind of education our kids will have, and God help Ghana. Now, one other thing that we haven't taken note of is who was he gesturing towards?
Exactly.
Okay, so
yeah.
that we can't be very sure.
We can't be very sure because that didn't show in the video.
Now, Kwame Tua says you disrespected him. Just admit and apologize. You're a minister, and so what? Prince Nudin says what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Still waiting patiently for the final verdict from the speaker.
Richard Tete Kranting says the education minister didn't act honorably. He must apologize to his colleague MP and apologize to the House as a whole. Alpha, I do say, says, of course, that liar of an MP.
Let's move on.
Okay, that's not fair. Doche Francis says he's telling his fellow honorable member that he is mad. Okay. And AJ Shreme says, in SMP, this is supposed to be House of Honorables, not House for gangsters and militants. And Tichoga Albert says, who's that civilized Napo? In fact, I don't know if due diligence was made before. Oh, okay, before he became minister. Hussein Osman says, I believe he's saying you are mad. Who do you think you are? And those are someone, of course. Israel just told you, somebody, understood it to be Omar Afro. Yep. Finally, this is Ghana, and we always seem to have problems with everything, just everything around us, from our institutions of law to governance and what have you. And so it's simple. And I mean, our national anthem has been, the laws in this country are not working. So tell me, if you had the opportunity to make a law or to delete one of our laws in our books, what exactly will it be and why?
If I have to pass such a law, I'll just tell the parliamentary to enact a law where there will be hierarchies in the, for example, the police service like this. It's an institution that is very vital to the country. So if they have to, there should be a hierarchy. Somebody should be at the top. They are not all the same, actually. So even if they are the same, at least there should be a voting system at the hierarchy where somebody can be voted as the IGP, so that the president do not have to appoint him or appoint her to become the IGP, and the person wants to be to please the IGP, the president.
The one we should start with, I think the one is the environmental issues. Coming now, we are going to the rainy season and looking at the way and manner people distribute throw rubbish away. If there should be a forceful law in place to at least curb this indiscriminate throwing of rubbish, this one will help. By using the AMA and the task force, I think that one is appropriate. And thorough education. The one we should expand is the death sentence. I think for that one, it's not a good. Let me say, it's not a good law. If the government or the judiciary can sit down to expunge that law from it.
A law to, make sure that all the people on the pedestrian roads will be removed. I think it's not fair. It's not that we don't get chance to move here, but it's not the best. I think the government has to have a very good place for them to solve their things. I think it's very, very important, just because, this place is very nice, and at the end of the day, you see people, selling all over.
I think our laws already are very, very good. All that I would say, I want someone who can really enforce the law to the letter, especially in the area of discipline and corruption. I would want a very strong leadership that can enforce laws that will make Ghana responsible.
All right, so those are some interesting comments from the streets, and I'm pretty sure a lot of guys will be thinking about passing a law that will charge women for rape, but I think Israel is one of them.
No comment. Barry Makuwaji says, I would expand that law that gives people ex gratia after every 4 years. They pay those monies to themselves and tell us the economy is broke. I'd ever enact a law to ensure that not everyone is qualified to become an MP, like that member who promised to flow in April. Pepra Isaac, Article 71, and the law that established ex gratia. They are drain on the public purse. Also, the law that says a giver of a bribe is as guilty as a receiver. How can you fight corruption with this law? Solomon Egan says immunity to be scrapped from the Constitution. Educated thieves, MPs and government officials intentionally steal from the state coffers and walk away as free citizens. Enough is enough. And Mawena says, I pass a law to strengthen each other. That is, we share. So the rich don't continue to be rich and the poor suffer. Make Ghana a socialist state since it's now capitalist, and its negativity overrates its positives.
And Husseini Osman says, I wish there was a law that compelled every landlord to plant at least 2 trees per house. People should make provisions for trees when building houses. Abeku Krenzel says, I would pass a law that would abolish ex gratia and salaries of government workers increase every 2 years. Ankoma Intribuesiako says, Article 2671, the chiefs are not using it for the benefit of their subjects but for their own selfish gains. So land should be expunged. And Prince Nuruddin says, I would have passed a law to ban galamsey in order to protect our water bodies and preserve our natural lands. Hashtag stop galamsey now. And those are some interesting comments on Facebook. On that note, we end the interactive segment. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Have a great evening.